My friends, hello. Like I said, my name is Setzero. This is going to be a lot of fun. We only have 30 minutes, which is just too little to explain everything, but we're gonna do the best we can. Yeah, we're going to talk about everything from basically using the main cores of how to create a genre, I guess, styled song using Modular. As you can see, there's really nothing patched. The only thing I have patched right now is a bass. I'm going to pull that guy. So now you're just hearing me, and it's weird, and I don't like it. So we're going to make some music with it. So the main thing that we want to start off with, and something that I've told probably to everybody that's ever asked, how do you make music with Modular, is my number one thing is a clock. In this case, I use Pamela's new workout. It is insanely important to have a clock source to kind of power everything from the beginning to the end, right? Number one, have a Modular. Yeah, have the money to get Modular. Can you start without a clock? Yes, you can absolutely start without a clock. If you have some sort of sequencer, like the Arturia key step, you can kind of work with that. You can work with Ableton. There's a clock. You can send MIDI clock out. You can use all kinds of different things, but if you're going straight DAW-less Modular, you got to have some sort of clock. In this case, like I said, Pamela's new workout is my clock. It's a beautiful machine. Everyone knows that I call it my second wife, and it's because it literally does everything perfectly, just like my first wife. Juice box is in the room, so she can hear that. So, sorry. So, Pamela's new workout, basically what I want to do is make sure that this clock is the brains of my whole system. Once I push the start and stop button, what's going to happen is it's going to give me all my signals pumping out to me. If you look really closely, you can see little green lights just blinking like crazy. What we're going to do is we're going to get that clock into our drum source. And when it comes to these, I guess, gate signals that PAMs can do, we can have it trigger just about anything. This is going to be very annoying, but I'm doing it for a reason. In my number 3 slot right here, I have it going on, I think it's like a X4 of the I guess a 4 multiplier of the actual BPM. And so we're going to put that into trigger 1. Come out of my, by the way, this is my drum module. Erica Synths Pico drums, the first version. Just get ready. This is going to be just straight up kick drum over and over and over again. It's going to get really annoying. This is called hard style. Let's go. No, but this is basically one signal doing my drums, right? And so, sorry, that was a little bit fun for me. So this 3 that's blinking is going to go into my input of my drum signal. Once again, I have the clock kind of taking care of everything. And the reason why I'm going this basic is because this is how I do everything. Once I have this in here and it's giving me my signal, I send the out into my mixer, which goes out to the speakers and to you guys. I feel a lot like Bleep Temple right now, actually. Anyway. Once you have that basic down, you can kind of patch everything to a clock at that point. Once you understand the clock, you can really start to expand from that point forward. A lot of you know I have what's called the DNI Pro Dot, which is a drum sequencer, basically just a sequencer of some kind. I use it for drums. And I usually patch out of Pam's new workout into my clock source. And this becomes its own sequencer with gates and those kind of things. And that pumps out to whatever else I want. I hope I'm explaining this well. I don't feel like I am, but I'm trying to make the best sense of it that I can. And I have some pre-saved things going on here, so I'm going to go ahead and send this off to... We'll go with the 4 on the floor beat, because everybody understands 4 on the floor, don't we? All right, so Pam's new workout is my clock. My clock is feeding into my sequencer. My sequencer is triggering my drums, and my drums are going out to my mixer, aka to you guys, and to my speakers. Once I push play, you'll see that my drums are firing off thanks to my sequence that I built with the DNI Pro Dot. You'll see the little yellow kind of moving through, and I can change that obviously to be a little bit more aggressive, or or less aggressive. And that is basically all the clocking source I need for my kick drum. The nice part about the D&I Pro Dot is I can actually have 3 different gate outputs based on that clock signal that I'm sending from PAMs to workout. So I typically send out my second signal to a snare, which is already built in the Pico drums. Boom. We have a 4 on the floor beat, as house as we can be, doing all the things that we do best, right? That is the first element to what makes a song, in my book, is the drums, because that is what everybody holds their entire structure on, is really the beats. Obviously, there's ambient, there's all kinds of different variations of music, but in order to make genre-styled, I guess, mainline genre-styled music, you have to have some sort of drum collection, right? So, once we have the drums down, now we need to go to the other core elements of making a song, which in my opinion is bass and melody. Almost in every band, for majority of modern music, there's three different components to music. Well, 4 if you count. We'll get to that in a second. But 3 for the instrumental side: drums, bass, and melody. The 4th would be vocals, which I don't sing, so you're never going to get that. Maybe another time. I don't know. Who knows? You might get lucky. So once I have the kick and the snare, when you start figuring out the bass and the melody at this point. Now, a lot of you know I use the Neutron, and the Neutron is a very cost-effective module that has a bunch of, it's like a super module. It has a bunch of little different modules built into it that allows you to kind of, at a low cost point, get into modular synthesis. And I think it's a fantastic unit for those trying to learn and trying to save some money, because even though this is bigger and has more features, this down here, the Moto 32, very similar, costs 2 to 3 times as much. And so I highly recommend something like the Neutron because it is cheaper. I know there's a big bad rap on Behringer right now because of all the shady stuff they do. I believe in the message, and the messenger can be split, and I do think the Neutron's a great unit for those that want to try this out. I think it's great. And I know a lot of people do have the Neutron as it is. I use it typically for my bass and my low-end frequencies. So what I'll do is what you heard at the very beginning of the stream, which was just a constant drone, if you will. I'm going to patch out of my VCA directly from the Neutron. I'm going to put it right into my mixer. And right when I plug this in, you're going to hear the bass kick right in. And that's a classic Setzero growl bass. And the reason why I do that, and I'll show you some of the settings really quick. First off, the overdrive is what is powering this VCA circuit. I have that drive all the way up, the tone all the way up, and the level about midway. So everything is really hot, really spicy. And then over here, my filter section, the resonance is turned up to about 11 o'clock. And so you have a little bit of that growl, which I love, which gives it that kind of, exciting flair. From that point forward, though, it's all really about how you want your bass to move. Because right now, with nothing else plugged in, I have a kick drum, a snare, and a bass doing all my work, and it sounds fine. Very simple. There's a C line this is actually a C that's tuned to. So I have the C doing pretty much everything with the drone. We have the kick drum, the snare, and it's all clocked. So everything is in line, nothing has changed. Now what if I want to have some variation to my bass drum, my bass synth, I guess, or to have some sort of, not percussion, but like percussive attacks happening. If I take the Pamela's to work out, I usually have it in 2 because it's just what I'm used to. I patch it into my envelope for the Neutron. That's going to give me kind of like this rhythmic kind of feeling from the Neutron. And one thing I've noticed with the Neutron, and right here there's a VCF envelope depth. If that needs to be churned up, because that will trigger our second envelope here that's using, and we'll give it kind of like an extra, I don't know, extra attack kind of thing that's underneath the entire. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is turn up the envelope depth VCF, and you'll be in good shape. I'm going to turn down the VCA bias so you get a little bit less of that sustained. And once again, you're noticing everything else is clocked right now. Everything is clocked. Thanks to Pam's new workout, everything is timed correctly. It's giving me everything that I want. I can change all of my gate signals to kind of trigger something else different. So obviously with Pam's new workout, you do have to do a little bit of menu diving. But if I go into the signal generator for this envelope gate for the neutron, I can change that to be a little bit faster. Gives a little bit of that 303 feel at that point, which is nice. Now from here you can start tuning the neutron manually, and you'll notice over here I have 2 missing knobs, and that's on purpose, not by accident. These knobs are insanely sensitive when it comes to tuning anything on the neutron. And so I pulled those suckers off and I tuned it to a C. So both these oscillators are doing their thing, which is nice. Once again, this is a very normal modular system. And so it allows me just to have one going into my gate and one going out of my VCA, and we have everything we need for that, which is really, really helpful. So once again, everything's clocked by Pam. I have 2 signals going out, one to my drum sequencer, which is powering my drums, and one to my envelope gate into the neutron. Everybody with me so far? Everybody feel good? Everybody feel nice and spicy? Because that's how I feel. Okay, next, we have the drums, we have the bass, now we need the melody. Now, once again, when it comes to the melody, I use it's actually another kind of like, I guess, normal or semi-modular situation. I use the Mother 32 down here, which has a built-in sequencer, which is really, really helpful for pretty much making anything I want happen with only using maybe a handful of cables. So at this point, I'm actually going to reset the Mother 32. So it's going to play on a note C. So everything should be in tune, ready to go. I'm plugging from my Pam's new workout into the tempo spot of my Mother 32. And I'm going to go ahead and push play right now, because then that will activate the clock as soon as that tempo gets its signal. I'm going to go ahead and push Pam's new workout. The one button that Pam's new workout has is a start-stop button. It's literally the brains of this whole operation. Oh, newbie mistake. I need to plug the out, the VCA out of my neutron into a source, into pretty much to my mixer. So 2 cables. There we go. And so right now, all I have going to this is just that one signal generation of my 5 slot in Pam's new workout. And right now it's doing I think it's the quarter note pretty much on the beat. Or is that yeah, that'd be a quarter note on the beat of my tempo. I'm going to turn that up so it's a little bit more rhythmic. Oh, whole note, yeah. DJ Joey, thank you. Yeah, whole note, my bad. So, right now we have the basics. We have all the basics figured out. We have the drums being triggered by Pam. Once again, I have one cable going to my drum sequencer, which is the D9 Pro Dot. D9 Pro Dot is feeding my kick drum, snare drum into my Pico drums module, which has 2 inputs for the kick drum, the snare drum, that goes out to my mixer. Right now, all you're hearing are 3 elements, and this is as vanilla as I can get. From this point forward, it's really about exploration and figuring out exactly what you want to do. The nice part is that everything has the capability of syncing to a clock. Really, in Modular, the clock can be your best friend when it comes to this style of music. Once again, I use it because it makes the most sense to like have, these core elements sync to a clock because it's normal to most people's ears, and it's really normal to me, right? Anyway, so at this point, what we're going to do is do a little bit of variation. We only have about 9 minutes left, so we're going to do a little bit of variation to everything. Right now, we're only using C notes on the bass and the melody. We're going to change that up now. Over here, next to Pam's New Workout, is one of my other sequencers. It's a Pico SEQ. It's a fantastic sequencer. It is a little bit of menu diving, but if you can figure it out, it's very, very, very helpful. And I have a pre-saved sequence. The clock is going to feed into the sequencer, and the sequencer is going to go out, which has note information, which is like a 1V per octave, if you will, right? So the sequencer is now going to go into my oscillators to basically tune them to the sequencer's notes that it feeds it. So what we're going to hear right now is going to be the bass is going to be hitting, basically using all the notes that I programmed in the sequencer, and that's going to give us our bass sequence. Once again, this is a separate sequencer. It's not attached to the neutron, normally. And that is using the clock signal to get its time information. And once I hit play, it's going to use that time information and send off the note CV over to the neutron, thanks to patching into the oscillator. You'll notice that the Mother 32, which is my melody sequencer, is just staying on C because I haven't programmed that yet. So we have all the elements figured out. Now we're going to start, like I said, tweaking the melody now to fit the rest of our situation. So I think I have this on. I'm just going to go through my sequencer to see what notes I have. In this case, D, A, F, and then back to A. So D, A, F, A. So typically what I'll do is I will go to the Mother 32 and start plucking out those same notes. So D, and this is it. I basically put it into a step record mode so that I can start typing in these. So D, A, and then F, A. So now my sequence should sound very similar to the notes that I plugged into the sequencer for my bass. I need to hit play on the sequencer. Might be. There you go. And at that point, it's just playing with knobs to kind of get the desired sound. So, that's the basics of it all. From that point forward, we can go ahead and start patching in other items. In this case, a lot of people want to know how in the world do you get like all these random notes to pop up. Pam's New Workout has a lot of great features. One of them being a quantizer. Wow, that took forever. So my quantizer that's built into Pam's New Workout is now going to feed into my Mother 32, and that's going into the VCO the 1V octave slot. And that's what a lot of people are like, how in the world does that work? It's because my PAM's new workout is set to configure to quantize on the 5th scale of anything that it's going to affect, which will automatically, for the most part, give you something that's pleasing to the ear. And once again, this is randomized with a bunch of different control voltages. You guys notice it just jumped right up. That melody did, at least. Very sneaky, indeed. So right there, we have the main elements of a song. What we haven't figured out, though, is one of my favorite things, which is some of the effects that kind of give it that width and that spreading that I really want. And so I use reverb. We're going to go out. I'm doing this just for time's sake, because we only have 3 minutes left. But I'm going to go ahead and go out of one of my pretty much line mixers. We're going to go into directly, this is very scary, but we're going to do it. I don't like to go direct in, but we're going to do it in this case. But I have an attenuator on the back end, so I use reverb. I use reverb quite a bit. Yes, you did notice. So we're going to go out of my VCF output of the Mother 32 and into pretty much the reverb setup that I have. Instantly we have a sense of, I guess, warmth, but also of fullness in our mix because of this. And then really it's all about just changing all your parameters to kind of fit your feel. That's really it for my 30 minutes. I can't believe that went by way too fast. I should have done an hour. But I hope this helps kind of demystify a little bit about how to use modular in this kind of sense to create music that is genre locked or tempo locked. You can really do a lot of amazing things without tempo, without a clock, but I'm just showing you that the power of using a clock gives you something that's very easily recordable, usable, and distributable for your own music. If you have any questions at all, by the way, you guys can reach out to me at my Discord. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Feel free to jump on the Discord. You can ask any questions you guys have. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you all for being here, and we will see you next time. Be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Much love, y'all. Bye-bye.